Hello, Wise Rebels. So, not so long ago, I stood on a conference stage in Edinburgh and I threw a comment out into the audience that I've been thinking about for a while. And what I said was, I really want to open a ninja school. And I'll talk about that a little bit more in a minute, but I was really surprised at the number of people who came afterwards and said, This ninja school, when does it begin? Where can I sign up? And of course, I know that when you're enthused on the day of a conference, that's very different to what happens afterwards. But I did realize this kind of secret dream that I'd been harboring for ages had potential to become reality. So let me tell you a little bit more about why this crossing becomes the first ninja school that I hope to create as part of the Wise Rebel world. So, if you've been in my world for a really long time in other businesses, then you might remember that I used to teach a thing called a 25-year mission. I'll still teach that in the future, I'm sure, where I essentially said that for me, the thing that I really wanted to focus the following 25 years of my life on was 50,000 heart-centered leaders changing organizations on the inside. 50,000 heart-centered leaders changing organizations on the inside. And I worked on that pretty intensively actually for about 8 years. When I started Wise Rebel just over 2 years ago, I I half put it down. Like it was still there. Obviously, I've been teaching leadership quite intensely for that time, but I didn't have the same focused attention on it that I had had for the 8 years previously. Other things were happening. I was setting up Wise Rebel to think differently, and in many ways, I think I might have lost a little bit of faith in the idea that I could really harness leaders on the inside of organizations and create change. I was feeling a shift in the zeitgeist. Obviously, we were spending less as a nation on diversity and inclusion, which felt very important to me. And I sat back for a while. I started to run a future of work research project, which has ignited so much passion and interest in me. I can't even tell you, mainly because the child in me that grew up in St. Helens during the miners' strikes has this real passion and memory of my friends' dads losing their jobs and their mums actually to some extent, and what that did to that community at the time. I was very young, but I remember it. And when I started the Future of Work research, it was because I was really interested in what's about to happen. Not where do we get to on the other side, but what's about to happen in order to allow us to get to the other side, to create whatever it is that we're going to. And one of the things I was curious about was who's going to get caught in the crossfire. Because the thing I have seen consistently in my research is a sense that whatever happens in this new era of artificial intelligence, a number of skills will lose their importance in different ways, and that there are certain jobs we won't be hiring for anymore. We know that the younger population are having more trouble than ever getting onto the job market. And we also know that people, leaders in their late 40s, early 50s who are made redundant, find it harder than ever to find their way back into organizational life again. So things are changing. And here's what I want. I want to be a part of helping the leaders who want to shape the maps of what that looks like. I want us to undertake a crossing which says, how do we change things on the inside? And you don't have to be a huge leader to do that. You just have to say, I want to play my part in this. Because I don't think it's good enough to say it's going to be okay on the other side. I firmly believe that it is. And I'm a passionate believer in possibility, as you know. I'm interested in what happens in the period of chaos and rapid urgency type change, which tends to bring out our worst behaviors. And I know, as somebody who spent a long time in leadership, hands on myself, that these are the moments where we can fade a little bit. We can find ways to be okay with things that we are not okay with. And we can struggle to do this the way we would want to do it. And so the point of the crossing this time round is to say, this is Ninja School. How do we change things on the inside of our organizations, whatever they might be, so that even if we could change direction just by 1 degree, we know that that would change the trajectory of the destination. It would change the trajectory of the destination. And the crossing, therefore, is about a small group of leaders coming together in whatever industry they're in, third sector, private sector, public sector, whatever it might be, and saying, here's the reality of what I'm facing. Here's where I think I could create a chink of light that is enhancing possibility. Here's what I can see I'm choosing to ignore. How do I play these cards that I've been given as powerfully as I can? And I think that's going to take some really counterintuitive thinking. I think it's going to require us to drop some ego in some places to play the game differently, but I think it really matters. And I think if you're in the Wise Rebel world, you think it matters too. And so this crossing, there may be more, maybe there'll be an even bigger Ninja School, is the first move of Ninja School. How do we change things on the inside almost without anybody even noticing? And that's a very different strategy to standing up on stage with a great new idea or hoping that people will pick up our ideas. Who's going to be part of writing the maps that say, in whatever way I can, I want this transition to be better for humans than it would have been if I hadn't stepped up. So that's this version of the crossing. It's me saying it's time for Ninja School. I haven't called it that on the sales page for obvious reasons. Some of you might want to help get sponsorship to get involved, and maybe it's not so helpful if I call it Ninja School. But if there's something inside you that says, yeah, I want to be a ninja, I want to be a good guy subverting things for humans on the inside, then that's what this crossing is all about. And we'll have fun. We need to not do it on our own. It's too hard to push against the tide on our own. We'll create some new possibilities, and we'll learn things. We'll learn things that we can teach other people. So I'd love to see you there. This is a slightly wacky opening from me to say, join the crossing. It's Ninja School. And whatever your role is out there, I'm pretty sure there are ways you can be impactful during this period. I really hope to see you there.